Guys, welcome back to another vlog, and today I'm probably going to be talking to you a little bit about soreness, whether or not I'm going to train, whether or not you should train when you're sore, and some general information around soreness. So as a starter, my quads are sore. If I was to train legs, having trained them yesterday as an example, and they were this sore today, I'd be like, whoa, that's pretty sore. And this is now leg day, so it's been 2 full days of recovery. So I trained them 3 days ago or whatever it might have been. And they're still pretty tender to touch. If I fully extend my knee, it's quite a painful experience. And so it's I have legs to train today, quads to train today. Should I be training them or not? So I have my pre-workout here, and actually something I've been enjoying doing is mixing. I have efficient push and efficient pump, and the only difference between the two is that efficient, push has caffeine and L-tyrosine in it. L-tyrosine is to taper caffeine so you don't get the jitters and stuff, so it's a nice combination, keeps you a bit more focused. But I like companies that do both. This is obviously my sponsor's Efficient Science. I like companies that do both because then you can moderate how much of, you want all the pump stuff, but by mixing the two, you can kind of taper in how much caffeine you want. So I'm just using less than half a dose of the typical push because that has 300 milligrams. So I just want 100 milligrams of caffeine just for a little bit of a kick in week 4 of my meso. What I'm planning to do is to go to the gym and I'm going to warm up and see how I'm feeling. I will talk a little bit more about kind of degrees of soreness and whether or not you should train. Generally, I don't like training when I'm sore. I like to be recovered pretty much completely. It's unlikely to be completely recovered, but not tangible soreness that you can really feel. But I'll go into the gym, see how I feel, because quite often when you warm up, get some blood flow in there, things start feeling a bit better. And the most important thing is that you can perform. If I was to underperform, if I felt like that was going to happen to what I'd expect, and that means beating last week's performance with 1 RAR less, then I will just do my hamstrings because my hamstrings are fully fresh, pretty much completely fresh. I might not be able to fully feel them because my quads are just that tender, but they're definitely recovered. So I'll train those, and then I might just do a bit of light work for my quads, and then it will again be by the end of the day, are they feeling better? Maybe I have to shift that session tomorrow, or maybe I just do a light session completely and do kind of that reactive light session, a reactive deload style session for this session, which hurts me a little bit, but ultimately I know that's the best thing to do. And I am one of those people that will push when I shouldn't push because that's just my nature. So I find it really hard to hold myself back. And if you didn't know, it's Christmas jumper day today, so I have my Christmas jumper on. Ada needs a walk. She's very desperate to get walked. But I wanted to check in with you because that session went really well. It was very challenging. It was a very tiring session. What am I saying? It's I could feel the soreness, but my performance was good and I felt good within the session. So I didn't add any volume. I just hit a slight performance increase on the week prior, added 5 kilos to my hack squats, got the same reps. Actually, I added some reps even on some of the down sets there. I think I'm getting used to the hack squat again as we're transitioning back into the gym. Added 2 kilos to my splits, to my Bulgarian split squats, got an extra rep on my leg extensions. So all in all, had a really good session. My quads are still in pain, obviously. And generally, like I said, I don't want this overlapping soreness, and I'm going to talk a bit more about that. In my mind, you have some levels to soreness. It isn't just a case of you're sore or you're not sore. There is no soreness, obviously. Then I think there is some mild soreness and disruption on the day. Maybe this is just a sensation you feel during that session, towards the end or later that day. And then you have soreness that you feel the next day, which is normally just a sensation of feeling a bit tight, potentially a little bit to touch, a little bit tender, and you kind of have to go out of your way to feel that sensation of soreness. And then you have a level above that where yes, if you touch, it's tender. If you use that muscle group, you're definitely feeling it, and it's definitely sore. And this is quite a high level of soreness. And then you have another level above that where it would be
you're debilitatingly sore. So actually moving with that muscle group is very difficult, and also you can't go through full range of motion. You're limited to a limited range of motion. It's very, very sore. So that's kind of the levels of soreness I would think about. And I think probably there are some muscle groups that if they're sore, it's more of an issue than others. For example, the hamstrings, they are taken through an eccentric loaded stretch, which is highly damaging. If they're a little bit sore, that could be a little bit troublesome. But for the quads, where they're more so taken through like pushing movements and things like this, I don't think it's as large to be a likely issue. So on the weekends, I don't split my session up in the same way. I do, because I do have I split it up into my big compounds first, or the main muscle group, which was my chest, upper incline focus. And then I rest basically sitting here for 10 to 15 minutes just to have a sip on my intra-workout and just chill out a little bit, get into that kind of rest and digest mode as best as possible. And then I go into what would be my PM session. And the reason I do that on the weekend is literally social life, and try and have more of my day free, so I'm not going back and forth. And it's quite nice to have that separation, get a bit more time away from the gym to recover psychologically, physiologically. And so yeah, I'll just be sitting here kind of looking over my next kind of PM session, as it were, and just chilling out, probably looking over emails, Instagram, nothing crazy. I think generally you want to be recovered before you go into your session. You could be a mild bit of soreness, like that level above no soreness. I think that's not too bad. If you're much above that, you definitely have to start thinking about, should I be doing this session? Or should I at least be kind of cautious with this, and should I make any adjustments to my volume going forward? So for me, it was a case of, I was that like level above. I certainly, if you touch the muscle, it was sore, but I wasn't not able to do a certain range of motion. I think you can go into the gym, you can warm up and see how things feel. And if you're feeling like, this could actually be a productive session, then I think you can go ahead with it. I don't think there's any kind of reason to believe that's really, really deleterious or a problem. But you definitely want to make some adjustments going forward. Like for me, it's just a case of keeping my volume in terms of set numbers static and not overdoing it in that session, which is what I was aiming for. So I think if you're, however, having a shortened range of motion, or your performance is going to be down, essentially if your session isn't going to be a quality, you can't do your job within your workout. You can't perform as you would expect to. That's when I think you probably want to rest and not do that session. But for a lot of people, I think they can probably perform well. And I think it's a case of knowing yourself. If you're that type of person that is always like pandering a little bit and any excuse, then maybe don't push it. But if you're someone who always pushes it to the point of which problems ensue, then maybe you have to and need to pull back. But I can see how that can be very challenging. Sitting down into this position is still painful because my quads are still mighty sore. So, guys, thank you as always for tuning into this vlog. I want to share with you before I go this. Check it out. Gingerbread nut butter from Resilient Nutrition. They sent me a really cool card as well with that. So that's a gingerbread flavor. Christmas nativity. And they just said, thanks for your support this year. And yeah, obviously that's Greg Potter's company, and I'm really happy to be supporting them. And yeah, if you guys ever want to grab some very health promoting, as long as it's on the context of like
correct calories and macros and everything, but it's kind of the quality ingredients within the nut butters are great. And obviously I like the Calm one because that has the ashwagandha KSM 66, which I like having when I need some calming down and stress reduction and stuff. And I'm excited to try the gingerbread one. So yeah, if you want to get a bit of money off, you can use Steve10, which I don't believe is, it's not an affiliate code. It just gets you 10% off. So STEVE10, you'll get 10% off these guys. So yeah, as always guys, thank you for support. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you've taken something away as ever from these vlogs. And I'll talk to you next time.